Hello! This video is created for those preparing for the IELTS speaking test. There are two videos available, a self-test video where you can attempt the test on your own, and a video with answers provided. First, take the practice test, and then watch the answer video to compare your responses and study effectively. We wish you the best of luck with your IELTS exam preparation.
Do you recycle now? Why? Yes, of course I recycle. In Korea, we must recycle our plastic, vinyl, paper, and glass waste. We must also separate our food waste, and that gets recycled separately. So I do recycle, and I have always recycled because I have always lived in a country where recycling was pretty much mandatory. But I also believe that recycling is good for the environment. So even if I didn't have to recycle, I still would. Did you recycle when you were a kid? Yes, I always recycled when I was a kid because in my country, recycling is also mandatory. From a young age, I was taught the importance of reducing waste, reusing where we can, and recycling that waste we generate for the good of the environment. Will you recycle in the future? I will recycle in the future because it is very good for the environment. And also, it is just a general good habit to have. Even if I live in a country where recycling is not mandatory, or recycling can be difficult for some reason, then I will still make an effort to recycle. What kind of things do you recycle? Usually, I recycle all of my paper, cardboard, vinyl, plastic, glass, and food waste. So, any delivery boxes or containers or plastic wrappings that can be recycled, because not all of those can be recycled actually. But anything that has a label on it that says it can be recycled, I will recycle it. So, an enjoyable dinner that I had with my friends was actually a spur-of-the-moment thing. We had all finished work and it was quite late and maybe a little cold. So we decided together that we wanted to get kimchi jjigae. So we got to the restaurant and ordered kimchi jjigae along with some sujebi and some rolled egg. So we ate all of this delicious warming food and we talked about our work that day and how cold the weather was. We also talked about some plans that we had on the weekend as we were going on a small trip together. I really enjoyed this dinner because it was just a very relaxing, fun time after a very hard day at work. And we ate some delicious comfort food. It was a very comforting and soothing experience, and we had a great time together. Why do people like to have food on special occasions? I think people have food on special occasions because a lot of people like to celebrate through eating or cooking some special foods. Food is very important in some cultures specifically to mark special occasions. So I think the idea of having food on a special occasion has been handed down through generations. What's the difference between eating at home and eating out on special occasions? I think eating at home on a special occasion might feel more comfortable, while eating out on a special occasion might seem a bit more fancy depending on the menu. I think people like to eat at home or eat out on a special occasion depending on what that occasion is. A lot of people, for example in Western countries, they eat with their families at home on Christmas Day. However, on someone's birthday, I think it is a bit more common to eat out. What national identity can be seen in a nation's culinary? I think that national identity can definitely be seen in a nation's cuisine. The food of a country represents not only what flavors people there enjoy, and what vegetables do well in that country naturally from an agricultural standpoint, but also it can represent some of the country's history and cultural background. For example, if we take a look at Indian cuisine, well, there are a lot of kinds of cuisines in India, but if we take a look at some Indian cuisines, they do not include pork and/or beef. This reflects the religious, spiritual, and personal beliefs of the people living in those areas. So their cuisine directly reflects some aspects of their identity. Why do global leaders like to gather around for dinner? I think that global leaders like to gather around for dinner to share their culture, but also to discuss very important topics in a bit more of a relaxed atmosphere.